Welcome to this week's edition of Beyond Sports, where we BS about sports. I think we all know what we need to talk about this week. The finals are starting. Mavs versus Celtics. Who we got? What are we expecting?
Yeah.
Pivot.
Uh, first of all, man, you really wanted more out of OKC, right? Or out of
What?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, sorry.
Yeah, a lot of things just confused me about, and I know he was still a part of the process, but you can't help but think that the injury to their head coach, to where that had him sitting in the second row for this entire series and the series before, didn't it have some sort of impact? Because at times you're sitting there and you're like begging for a fucking adjustment. Like you're like sitting
Mhm.
there like, at any point can you take Rudy Gobert out of this series? Because the Dallas Mavericks are just having a heyday throwing alley oops over his ass
He was
every time he
weird.
comes to help. It was
I,
good.
He was oddly terrible.
Plus, also that's just on the defensive end. On the offensive end, he's not a shooter, so he's clogging up the lane for people like Anthony Edwards to attack, Carl Anthony Towns to do to work in the post. All he's doing is causing problems for your spacing at that point because Dallas is not playing a big lineup like that. They're playing one big at a time, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? Like you're
Yeah,
just begging for a change up. Like Nas Reed have been playing well, and then you're just like, we'll just continue
but it
meandering
it
about this.
I mean it happened like all series. Like I
It did
don't
all
I
series
don't
long.
so I mean their head coach sitting second row, like there's
Yeah,
not that there wasn't an adjustment like during the game. There was an adjustment in the
even
entire
between them.
series.
Yeah, even between them. Like it was.
And it was weird. I mean, Rudy
it
Gobert is
really just
usually
looked like
not
a
that
team
bad.
it looked like a team that hit the proverbial wall.
Yeah, it looked like a team built to beat one team because the guy that built the Timberwolves built the Nuggets
Yeah,
into the winner that they are.
Yeah,
So I
I
mean,
mean that, and I mean, what are you gonna do? Well, like when you've got Luca and Kyrie playing like that, what the fuck are you gonna do?
that's true. Luka's a madman.
every
Like
now
you
and
got
again.
Kyrie Irving finally figures it out. Finally figures it out. Like
Hey,
that's
better late than
that's
never.
fucking
Better
scary.
if he wins another ring with the second team, like that's big,
Big one.
man.
That's a big one. It is it. It's
If
gonna
you
be
can
it's
be
gonna be a tough
Robin
one
for
because
two
I do think
guys,
I think
quite the Robin.
Boston's. I mean, Boston's a hell of a team, top to bottom.
You think Boston's going to take it? Tatum and Brown also need to prove something.
Tatum, Brown, but I think the addition to Drew Holiday, that's a huge addition for this series right here. I mean, the dude's a hell of a defender. Um,
Yeah, no, it's
Great
great,
defender.
but
He has that experience of winning a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. He's calm, cool, collected. I just think him and Kristaps Porzingis are big pickups for this series.
yeah,
Porzingis, like as much
Porzingis.
as Kyrie's gonna have that chip on his shoulder because he's playing against Boston, Porzingis is gonna have that same one because he's against Dallas.
Yeah, but does he have that same ire against Dallas? Like, do Dallas fans hate Porzingis like Boston fans hate Kyrie? I mean,
I don't think anybody hates anybody like they hate Kyrie. Like Boston fans hate Kyrie. You know what I mean?
well,
I'll be I'll be pretty interested to see them.
I
Kyrie
don't
gave him
think
a lot of
Dallas
his.
fans have fond memories of Porzingis, but I think that he just was a poor fit alongside Luca,
Yeah,
more or less.
yeah,
But
sure.
yeah,
But it'll be interesting. It'll be
yeah,
good.
it's
Did not expect the Mavs. I guess. I mean, I should have. I guess the Mavs were good,
they
but
were good.
man,
I didn't realize the
no,
last
thank you.
month of the season Dallas ranked like number one in defense.
In defense,
Yeah, the last month of the season
okay,
before the playoffs, they
okay.
their defensive efficiency spiked. Like it's like what the hell? I don't. They made some trades obviously at the back
So,
end of the season that were
okay.
smart.
Well, then who do you have? Boston or Dallas?
I have been on record saying that I do think Boston will win this series.
You think Boston's gonna win this?
I do. Um, I think that they have a lot of switchability on defense, where they have a lot of guys that have the same. I think that
I
this is a.
thought,
I think they're a better offensive team because they have more weapons. Like
but I thought you said they always fall apart. We're waiting for them to fall apart.
I do,
We're
but
not
I've been
waiting for them
wrong
to fall
all
apart.
postseason about both of these teams. Like I just don't know, man. I think Boston will get it. That's my pick.
Okay.
Who's your pick?
Um,
Who's your pick?
I'm gonna take the Mavs.
Yeah,
I'm
smart.
gonna take the Mavericks.
Second pick.
I just, I guess I like Luca a little better than Tatum. and that's just what I'm basing it off of. I like Luca and Kyrie combo right now better than I like the Tatum and Brown.
But my thing is that I'm looking at is I like the Horford, Porzingis, and Drew Holiday more than I like the other three starters for Dallas.
That's true. And
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking
I
at
wouldn't
the
hate
other
seeing
guys
Al
because
Horford
those are the guys I
finally.
think that are going to make the impact on the NBA Finals. I think Tatum and Brown are going to do what they do, but I think that the other guys are going to be integral in allowing them to do that. Porzingis hitting
What?
down outside shots, Drew Holiday being able to take a
Okay,
slow down Kyrie Irving to where you don't have Tatum having to cover.
I think the league is more interesting if the Mavericks win.
Yeah.
So that's what I want, and that's what I'm cheering for.
Either way, this is the sixth
Um,
consecutive champion that we're gonna have.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Or it's
This
a
is
different champion.
an insane time in NBA because you're always used to there being like that team or maybe a couple teams even that are, repeating and are going consistently in the finals.
Because we're coming off that like 8-year stretch where LeBron James is in the finals every year.
Yeah, and I mean even before then, like, yeah, it was LeBron and Steph
Yeah.
forever, right?
Yeah.
And LeBron even a little before Steph got there. And
That's
then
what I'm
before
saying,
that
it's like
it
him.
was
So the talent field seems to be evening out in the NBA. There doesn't seem to be like that one, like one or two guys that are just wham right so
let's
far above everybody else.
let's talk about that then. Who do you think like if Luca, so the reason it'd be really interesting if the Mavs won is because Luca can put himself up there in like one of the top guys. Because I think everybody gave that to Jokic, right? Before
Luca's
like
market
coming into this year, everybody's like, oh
Luca
well,
looks like
it's
he enjoys playing.
do what?
Said Luca looks like he enjoys playing the game.
He does. Yeah, right.
He's the kind of guy.
Does, and
He's the kind of guy
and
you can put in a commercial.
offensively, it's hard to get better than Luca. So if he can win a chip, right? And I'm pretty sure he's on the cusp of winning an MVP at some point, right? Like he's young still. Like Luca, you forget how young Luca is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
there's an argument
sure,
that he should have gotten it this year, right?
there's arguments, and even a couple years ago. Anyways, it'll be then like a 3-man race, I think, right? Because Jokic, or Jokic, Giannis, and Luca. Anybody else? Like, I mean, any other guy that you want to say is competing to be like the top guy right now?
I mean, you still got Anthony Edwards ascending.
Absolutely.
He's coming along, but he hasn't done it yet.
But I mean,
He's 23, you know?
yeah, exactly. What we saw him do in this postseason run, and it's like you said with Luca, he's got the attitude, he's got the swagger about him. I think you got a lot of intriguing, like at the Tyrese Halliburtons of the world. How Tyrese Halliburton could possess that ability.
Yeah, I know, man.
Edwards does get my vote on that
You need
because I think
in basketball to be like, I mean, you need a ring or an MVP. You need something.
I mean they anointed LeBron out of high school, dog. Like they anointed.
Well, that was different. That was a little different. And he did all the things.
Nobody was calling him the best player in the league out of high school. Kobe Bryant was in the league. Don't even.
Kobe
They were
was
calling him the chosen one. I mean, they were
Kobe
saying
was the best.
gonna be.
Everybody, because everybody could see what was coming, and then it happened.
They pretty much given him a league by the time he had.
No, they said it was gonna happen. He was going to be, and then he did. But no, Kobe was still ran the league for a while.
Yeah.
Once LeBron got in there, right?
And
then before him, it was Shaq, right? For a little bit. Then it was Michael before that, and then it was Magic and Bird.
Because at first Kobe was great, but a lot of people did give because Kobe got credit after LeBron had already reached a finals. LeBron had reached the finals, hadn't won it, and then Kobe went to 3 straight, winning 2 because he went to 08 through 08, 09 to 10.
Right.
But before that, his first three-peat, they kind of gave the anointed Shaq as the best player on that team.
Huh.
And then after that, there's the question of, well, did Kobe actually earn any of his for the longest period until he won them with Powell? And in that period, a lot of people they liked Dwayne Wade. But I mean, yeah, once LeBron entered, like this league was on fire and it was his.
I mean, like, yeah, but
People
like
still
that's
disrespect Kobe Bryant's career. Like, they don't hold it in enough regard as what he should get. So yeah,
I mean, some
absolutely.
people
Back then,
don't.
they weren't just given. They didn't ever get Kobe. Didn't ever get it given to him. Whenever he got the back to backs with Pau Gasol as his number one guy, that's whenever he started really getting the respect. And at that point, LeBron had already kind of overtaken him.
Handy, handy by
Because
then.
right after
Is
that,
that
that's when in popularity and in people judging him off pure talent, he had taken a team with Andrus Ilgauskas and Anderson Varejao to the NBA Finals with Drew Gooden
Yeah,
on
that
that
was pretty
roster.
impressive. Okay, all right, fair enough,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Ron had
But
already.
I mean, but when you look back on it, Kobe for that small period of time, Shaq and Kobe is. Yeah.
I'm saying that team would. That team was.
Anyways, that's not even the point. What are we even talking about anymore? We're talking about who's the best right now. Usually in the league there's a clear cut like this is the best guy, right? Right? That's what we're talking about, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I guess in the 80s there was the Bird and Magic conversation. But, you know, right now it's hard to tell who is that front guy, who is like the
Yeah, and
top
it's weird
dog.
because you got some guys still playing at a very high level, but they're closer to their way out. Um,
Yeah, I think it's time for,
Oh, and
you
again,
see.
this is a problem I brought up a couple weeks ago, and it it's I'm like I didn't think of it. Like it's being brought up by a lot of people. The NBA hasn't done anything to market new stars. They are
Not a lot.
they were wholly unprepared for
Not a
LeBron
lot.
and Steph Curry leaving, which is
Mhm.
insane.
I mean, the good thing is that they do have
LeBron
that
has
gap,
played a good 6 or 7 years past what he should, like what normal people do
but they
at a
do
high
have that tier below them with because they do have it a little staggered with Giannis and Jokic. Those guys are in a different, you
Yeah,
know,
but those guys aren't at the star level of
They're
Steph.
not.
Giannis Antetokounmpo's a huge star. Jokic, both of them
Not on that
huge.
level, man.
They're both multiple time.
Nobody knows. Nobody like
He's right though. And it's weird because like
non
Jokic
non
doesn't
non
want it.
NBA fans do not know that name. 100%
Jokic,
not know that
I mean, not NBA. If you're an NBA fan, you know the name.
name. Of course you do.
But
Most people know
oh, you
Giannis.
said non-NBA fans, yeah.
Most
It-
people know him. He's a very
You
maybe
could,
I,
you could drop LeBron James or Steph Curry's name anywhere, and people know who you're talking about.
yeah.
Nobody knows who Giannis is. And that's not like I'm not knocking Giannis. It's just this is the fault of the NBA. They've done nothing to market these dudes. Nothing.
They're
It's
not
been
great at marketing like their
it's been
international stars.
LeBron, Steph,
Yeah.
AD
They
sometimes.
know they know how to market their American guys, but they're not they
in
haven't
the world
figured it out with
with
their
all the
international.
sports betting that's going on in this world. No. The sports betting will be what promotes these guys.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you these guys start winning people money.
Who do you have as the best as right now? Let's get back on Jokic, Giannis, Luca,
I don't know enough. I don't know
anybody
enough
else?
about the NBA to say who's the best, but I will say there's nobody that really stands out to me.
Okay.
I mean,
Giannis is
I guess Jokic, but I mean that's because he's winning MVPs.
Right. Jokic has the three MVPs now, right?
Yeah,
I
Giannis
think
has
Giannis has three
two.
too, doesn't he?
Giannis has two, I thought.
Two. He had back to backs too. So
And
I mean,
then so Luca maybe should have won one. Um, and he might have a head start winning one this coming week or this coming season. This coming season.
yeah, and it's like
If
it's
he wins a
I mean,
championship, he
obviously,
might
like
be.
Luca's not in the conversation with those other two. I mean, like popularity wise, Luca's very popular. Like, but to me, as best player in the league, I mean, he like the other two guys you mentioned are have won multiple MVPs. They have won the finals. They have won Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Like
I
Like,
guess with Luca,
with all due respect, I
I'm
do
trying to
like
see
Luka
the
Doncic.
future with Luca, and
Yeah,
like
even
he's
with
young and he's still.
yeah, but he's not to where they are yet, and that's not discounting what Luka's done. Luka's done some good things, but he has
Right.
not won an MVP.
You're probably right,
So
but
we can't compare him to multiple winners.
if he wins a ring, he will have even the ring count with those guys.
Yeah,
That's something.
true. But that's something. That is.
that
Yeah,
is
but he
something.
has. But those other guys, yeah, Giannis is a phenomenal player. I mean,
But
Jokic is a phenomenal player. Luka is too,
I think
but
Luca is better offensively than Giannis.
I think Giannis is the more dominant player
Yeah,
and the harder
just
player
all
to
around.
contain
Maybe.
physically.
I don't know, man. Luca just. Anyways,
Really just have to
I
foul
yeah,
Giannis.
My thing with the Mavericks is there's always a dude open.
Yeah,
Like their off ball movement is just insane.
mhm.
you have one of the best.
And I contrasted that against what I was seeing with uh why do we keep forgetting the team they just played?
Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves. And like the Timberwolves in every game were forced into multiple shot clock violations.
Oh, and they had
Over and
terrible,
over and over.
terrible.
Yeah, the
balls.
defense was shocking how good it was.
One thing I'll point out for Dallas, and that is like to that point is look at who their head coach is. One of the best passing point guards of all time,
Yeah.
Jason Kidd. You know, one of the best floor generals ever out there as your head coach. So they're great passing team.
I would say just on the eye test of having watched both teams through the whole playoffs, I'm gonna go Dallas in 5.
Dallas in 5. He went Dallas in 5. I would say Dallas in 6. Like I'll give him 6.
It's an AFC NFC thing for me. I think the competition over in the West is on a different level.
Yeah, I do think the West was different. But
Boston has not had a real challenge.
Yeah, when I see
Um,
Boston play, I don't see anything special there at all.
a lot of times, look, if it's
coaching on the
anything,
edge definitely goes to
Execution, like they hit their shots.
coaching wise, it's definitely Dallas. I just I think the fact that most of this roster for Boston has been to a finals helps them. I just for some reason I just think they're a deeper team.
I mean, they are a little deeper.
So yeah, that's why I give it to them. I think they're both very good defensive teams. So I think that I have to go the team that has the better offense all around. Kyrie and Luka they make magic happen out there, so
And I hope to
they
see
could
him
steal the series. In my eyes,
The thing I tend to notice in basketball is, especially in playoff series, is it seems to come down more to team than individuals. Like throughout a season in basketball, it's a little bit the opposite, I think.
yeah.
But and that's like when I see the two teams play, it's just the Dallas Mavericks look like a completely different, are on a whole different spectrum.
We'll see.
It'll be fun to
I just
find
think
out.
that Boston's good. Sorry, I don't think that they'll fall into the same trap Minnesota did, where they just keep trying to double because I think that they have more capable defenders across the board to where they'll do more switching on their defense. They'll do more of a pass off with them, and so they won't get caught in that stupid pick and roll shit that Minnesota just died in.
Yeah, I mean, and the other question is for the Mavericks, like which is the real Mavericks? Was it the second half of the season Mavericks, or is it this playoff run Mavericks?
Yeah.
Because the second half of the season was just god awful for them. Like they struggled to make the playoffs, right? Like they kind of snuck in the last few weeks.
Who did?
Yeah, the last month they were really good.
Who did?
The
It was
Mavs
that last month that saved them.
last month.
Believe.
Yeah.
Should we move on to football? Maybe
Yeah.
a little or Chiefs. Another more Chief. Every week there's a more bad Chiefs news. But we did go to the White House, so that looked like fun.
Yeah, Travis Kelce didn't make an ass of himself.
That's great. No, I mean, even when he does make it after himself, it's still all in fun. Doesn't do it in a bad way.
No.
Um, and but we, some guy nobody's ever heard of, has some animal abuse charges against him. And he, I guess, was on the Chiefs as well. So that's fun. Great, good job,
They
good
dug up
job.
they dug up a tweet from this dude from 2016 that said dogfight today.
Ugh.
Like,
Good job, guy we've never heard of. Hopefully you were. Is he off the team yet? Do we kick him off the team yet? Has that happened? Have you heard of him?
oh, and on a similar note, if you have any questions as to uh Ray Rice or Rashid Rice's status with this team, took a real nice picture at the White House with Clark Hunt's wife and daughters.
Okay.
Everybody's smiling, so it looks like everything's probably hunky dory.
Yes, they're fine. They're good. Great.
And it's Isaiah Bugs, by the way. That
Isaiah Bugs, right? Yes, there he
So
is.
that's a great
Hard-
D-line name.
This is where you come to get your great source of information. All right, Isaiah Bugs, we picked up like mid-season last year.
stashed him and signed him to a futures contract in January.
So we might be just like, well,
He was a camp body, and now he's a camp body that is also surrounded in controversy. So those
Yeah.
guys typically, we know that he's not going to make the squad.
later guy.
He just is bringing negative attention to the team that has already had enough negative attention brought to them for
That shit, man, and that kind of shit just isn't gonna fly in our locker room when you've got Trey Smith, who has personally saved like 600. Oh, was that not?
Naughty.
that's naughty. Who's done
Still.
it the whole stint? He's been awesome.
Okay. And Derek Notting, well, so they're both linemen. They both play, right? They're both on the D
Yeah.
line. So that's definitely not going to fly. Like, it's your own position room. Come on. So that dude gone. Because he's a huge
dudes will
asshole.
look
Apparently
dudes will look the other way on beating a woman quicker than they will on beating a dog.
depends on the guy.
It's
But yeah.
It's just facts.
Apparently he left the dog, like he just left the dogs at his residence, like tied up out back.
What they're saying is, what his lawyer is saying is that they believe that he is the victim of attacks like these, where they are trying to get him to give up his hookah bar in Alabama,
Uh-huh.
and that they are claiming that he has two other
What kind of fucked up beef are you involved in?
he's had two other misdemeanor arrests at his club that have come with no reports being filed online to the public.
Okay.
So
We'll see. You know what?
That's
We'll
what
see
they're
how-
claiming.
just kind of a time bomb situation.
Yeah, they're claiming that this sort of shit is what happened here, because he's claiming no ownership of the dogs, that the dogs weren't there when he left the property, that the dogs were placed there after he had left the property and abandoned on his property.
I mean, hey, we've
That's
seen
just
crazy
what-
stuff. We'll let it play out.
Yeah.
But if it's true, then see you, dude.
Yeah, if it's true, you're a real piece of shit.
You're a real piece of shit, and you should
You're a
probably
real
go
piece of shit.
do a little, if
But if
yeah.
it's not true, that the people who did it to you are real pieces of shit.
Whoever did this to these dogs, pieces of shit. We can all agree should do some jail
Probably.
time. Some,
That's
if
a hell of a
Vic
thing to
did,
make
then-
up about somebody if that's what happened though.
Yeah, that's what they are reporting.
Want to get your hookah bar shut? How do we get this new hookah bar shut now?
Fucking dumb.
It's wild.
Dog fighting allegations.
Well, we'll keep up with the situation, but if it's true, see you, guy.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Oh, let's do a little baseball, right?
Yeah, Sam knows about this guy.
We've been in a little bit of a slump, but we're still, like 11, 12 games over 500. But the best news in baseball this week, the stuff we're really excited about, the thing we've all been waiting for, every baseball fan and player and anybody involved with the sport has been waiting such a long time for this. Angel Hernandez finally retired. He is gone from the game, and we no longer have to watch him screw over pitchers, batters, anybody he can. Sometimes He's not even behind home plate when he does it. Sometimes he's at first. Sometimes he's down at third base when he's screwing people over. He could screw over anybody and affect a game from anywhere on the field, and he would out hesitation. And we no longer have to see the worst official and maybe the history of the game. I don't, like good fucking
The
buy.
reason why they will probably have robots calling calls.
Dude, I think that's why. I think that is why Angel Hernandez was finally forced out of his job, is because once when he had that game where he was just calling, the balls to the outside, like that are like 6 inches to a foot outside,
Oh, yeah.
right? 3 straight where he's just like straight where he's doing it where you're like, okay, now you're just like doing it out of spite. Like I don't um
I mean,
I don't think
he's widely known as a bully. Like he would pick fights with players
right, yeah.
and managers just to toss them.
I think so. Once that happened, the big storyline around the media, what I found out after this, and what I think a lot of people found out was that the minor league system has robots, right? They're using the robots, like two call balls and strikes. And everybody was like, well, wait a minute, you know? And so I think the umpires union was finally like, you're making us look so bad that they're going to have no choice but to implement this shit.
Yeah, he's really bad. Can Carl
And
Cheffers follow suit?
do it.
NFL. So can Carl Cheffers follow suit?
If only. Oh my god.
They got rid of the chain gang this year.
They're getting rid of the chain gang. Finally.
That's fucking wild, though. That's a part of football, though, man. Like that's a part of football that I have always known there to be. It's always been there. So
Yeah,
that's a part of football I have never 100% had faith in, too.
I've never had faith in it, but
there's no way you know exactly where to spot that.
Dude,
fucking
remember
chain.
when they did the index card? Okay?
Oh, the index
infamous
card.
index card that they folded up in there.
And there was still space, and they called it a
was
first down anyway. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face with that shit.
Yeah.
So I think Angel, started a conversation that most umpires did not want to hear in the major league, even though it seems like the balls and strike system works very well in the minor leagues, and then we should definitely get that. Bring up the robots, please.
The problem with Angel Hernandez is he could have gone on and been an ump for as long as he wanted to if he had just not been a fucking asshole about it.
I mean, dude,
he's literally middle of the road
he
as
had been
far
an
as
ump
balls and strikes
for like 30 years doing that. So I mean, he was like, I can be an asshole and be an ump for almost as long as I want. Like he's gonna retire pretty. I'm sure he's got enough money to retire and be okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, he wasn't even the worst umpire. Not even close.
No, he was the most egregious.
But he was the worst because of how he did it.
Yes, exactly.
His calls were, like I said, his calls put him about middle of the road as in umpire rankings.
I think he highlights the worst things about the umpires in baseball. Their arrogance, right? They're like, they aren't going to be wrong, and they're not going to be, they don't have to be held accountable, and they can throw out whoever they want whenever they want. And it gets to this point where you're going to have a guy who loves the power trip with it, right? Who loves the authority. And is going to make the game about himself. Sometimes it can be fun. Joe West was a lot of fun, right? But Joe West was at least a good umpire. He would make the game about himself, which wasn't always a great thing, but he wasn't this. He wasn't this.
Yeah.
He wasn't just bad. Angel Hernandez, flat out bad.
Bad.
100%, it's just 100% ever a good thing when the general public knows your name as an umpire.
Exactly.
No.
If you're a good umpire, nobody knows your name.
Nobody knows, right.
Very well put.
Until you've been there for like 40 years, and they're like, okay,
same with NFL refs.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
So yeah, goodbye, Angel. We will never Nobody will ever miss you. Not from baseball. Sorry. I'm sure your family, if you ever die or something, will miss
Yeah.
you plenty or something. But
We are not more.
nobody's gonna miss you from baseball.
No.
You're terrible.
You're horrible.
He tried to sue the MLB and he lost. He tried to sue him for discrimination because he wasn't getting playoff games, and the MLB had like in court, like brought out all the tapes of how terrible he was, and Angel Hernandez lost the suit. So in court, there are documented records legally that Angel Hernandez is bad at his job. like, I'm like, no, you're just really bad at your job, dude.
That's amazing.
Off-season question of the week.
Off season.
Off-season.
What's up?
Terrible
Of
off-season.
the week.
Awful off-season. We got to get out of it. But the
We're
off-season
like,
question this
hey,
week.
we're like 95 days out
That's so long.
from kickoff.
Not the off-season question for this week is which team is the most poised to go from worst to first? Worst to first. Who's going to make that jump?
In their
out of
division.
The division.
I mean, that's
losers.
probably the Bengals, right?
That's the obvious answer is that the Bengals are the most poised because they're the best team.
Yeah, I mean, you
if
look at them and
the
I mean,
next
that's
the
a-
Ravens are going to be good. The Ravens are still going to be a good fucking football team.
they're gonna be. It's not gonna be easy for the Bengals necessarily, but you could see it a lot more than you could see these other teams. The only
I mean,
other team
that division is football hell.
I'm going to say the
It is. You almost
in
never
the
know.
AFC. I'm going to say the Tennessee Titans.
Better chance than the Patriots and the Chargers. Yes. Yes.
The
Yeah, obviously
Titans?
you have two divisions. You pick
They well, if
They
you
don't have
look
a
at the
Baltimore to go-
choices, look at the choices.
sophomore slump in quarterback. Second year slump is that big thing. That's a very real thing. Tennessee made a lot of
Bengals,
hiccups.
Titans, Patriots, Chargers, because there ain't no way the Chargers are gonna go to
Chargers, I think, are going to make a playoffs. They're going to make.
Are the
Right, and I
Titans
don't know
still
if the
rocking?
Patriots
The
will.
Titans are still rocking Will Levis, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they're pretty, but
Can you name a Titans receiver?
Calvin Ridley,
They just signed a couple, right?
DeAndre
Oh,
Hopkins.
that's right. They signed
Yeah, they just
Calvin.
signed. Yeah,
They
you
just,
can name.
To be fair,
Titans wide receivers.
The Titans have made some pretty big
Traded
investments
for
in free
L'Jarius
agency.
Sneed.
Yeah.
They've had a good offseason.
They've
The
made
Titans.
Okay,
they've
I
made
hate
some
that a lot worse than when you said it.
acquisitions.
Or a lot less.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying. Plus, also like I said, sophomore slump for CJ Stroud is a very possible thing. Not that I'm saying it's going to happen, but it's common that you see that from second year quarterbacks.
Mhm.
Trevor Lawrence, we talk about it every single week during the regular season that we're not sold on Trevor Lawrence. Anthony Richardson, we saw him play 5 games last year and finish 0 out of those 5 games that he started.
Looks exciting though. If he could stay healthy, very
If he
exciting.
could be healthy, if he could finish one of those games he starts this year, he makes an improvement.
so hey, a little side question there. So where are we at on Trevor Lawrence? What do you think?
Dude, exactly.
You need when
I
you
think
when
he's
you
Gardner
need.
Minshew level,
Look,
but he's gonna get
it's
paid like he's Patrick Mahomes level.
no, you can't do that because look, when you need a fourth year to really decide, it's usually not a good sign. Like
Also, I mean, so do you think? So number one, he's 23.
yeah, sure.
Like
And we're gonna give him another year.
that's younger than Jordan Love.
He could definitely come on this year, right? He could put it together because we saw him, that playoff game against the Chargers after he threw a bunch of interceptions. He did
That's
come
actually
back.
younger
It
than
was
Bo Nix
impressive.
and Penix too.
You what?
He's younger than Bo Nix and Michael Penix.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Literally.
And
so
he
he's
got drafted
definitely
in the
going
wrong
to get
spot,
his
brother.
next.
He just went to the wrong team.
He did maybe go to the
Jacksonville-
wrong team.
Jacksonville just ruins quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, we just don't know. We don't know yet with him.
Yeah.
It is funny that he is somehow, with as mediocre as he's been, he is still the best from his draft class, right?
Yeah.
Where there were
Yeah,
5
not even close. It's not
right?
even.
Or
Yeah,
at least best out of the first 5 in that first round. Was there anybody like taking
Those other guys aren't even like backup status. Well, I guess. Well,
Justin Fields?
Zach Wilson's back up in Denver.
Yeah, but
for a competent team.
Then you have Mac Jones as the backup in Jacksonville. No.
You know,
Oh no, wait, Sam
I
Darnold.
actually think Mac Jones is going to stay around in the league for a long time as a
I do
back.
too. I mean,
We
he's
have,
gonna be the
oh,
next
Trey,
Mitchell
yeah,
Trubisky
and then Trey Lance, right? He's
Yeah, Trey Lance.
back
a
up in Dallas.
backup in Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
okay. Let's go to the NFC though, because we're still on worst to first, and I think in the NFC, the Bears
It's the
might be
Bears. Yeah.
the
Bears
Bears,
sneaky
right?
good.
Even though they're in
I'm
a
not
tough
I'm not betting on
division.
the Panthers. I'm not betting on the Commanders. And I'm not betting on I mean
The Cardinals, but the
the
Cardinals would have to
NFC
go over the
West.
40, the Cardinals
I'm
over the
also saying
49ers and the Rams. I don't know.
I was
I don't
talking to
know.
Sam about this before you hopped on earlier, Sneaky.
The Cardinals gonna be fun to watch.
The Commanders have made decent moves in the offseason. Dan Quinn, as a head coach, is fairly good. Took a team to the Super Bowl. Hell of a defensive mind. You brought in Cliff Kingsbury to run your offense. I think they made the right pick at quarterback, taking the
With that
second.
Super Bowl, like a lot of it had to do with his offense and Kyle Shanahan.
And it's like for me, assuming that Dak Prescott is quarterbacking the team, they're not leaping both Dallas and Philly.
No, I don't think they are, but I think they're intriguing. That's what I'm saying. I agree with it.
And we all know Carolina is
just-
dog shit, right?
I honestly, yeah,
In Arizona to be able to just go man, their division is just too tough. The Rams and the Niners, I don't think they're gonna
the
be
Rams,
better than either
maybe
of
we
those
see a
teams.
step back with Aaron Donald having retired.
Maybe or maybe not.
And I mean, they won 10 games last year, so this year they probably win 6. I don't know.
They are kind of a back and forth team, but I think they're trying to build up a little something new.
I think
Although this could be Stafford's last year, right? Do we think this is
could be a
Stafford's last
Stafford
year?
last year. Yeah.
Maybe he seems to be still playing at a high level. He just
Yeah.
is injured a lot.
He just,
Been
yeah.
has
So,
been throughout his career.
I mean, when he's healthy though, like
That dude's
but I also
he's
think
been tough.
Stafford.
that dude got his fucking ass beat in the Lions game.
Dude, those first couple of years in Detroit were fucking brutal.
He did.
Yeah.
But I think Matt Stafford's ceiling is like a ring. A ring. He got his ring. I think, Matt, you did it. You
Yeah.
did it, Matt. You got there.
Congrats
You
on
got
it. It was a
yourself
great.
there.
I'm glad you got that ring instead of the other option of who could have got that ring that year.
Yeah. I thank you for doing that. And I always enjoyed Matt Stafford in Detroit.
They were
Thought he was
fun to
very
watch.
good.
Ton of fun. Him and Calvin Johnson.
Great times.
Yeah.
Great times. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I do kind of hope that Jaden Daniels comes out of the gate firing. That'd be fun.
I
we're running out of time, but I think we all agree the Bears in the NFC, right?
Yeah, I mean that's even if as good as that division is, and I think people are kind of underrating how good that division is.
The division is
the
very good.
division's fantastic. I mean, last year the Bears were tied for the worst at 7 wins.
Yeah.
That's good. That's not
good.
a bad
Right.
football team. Our bad division. Them and the Vikings both had 7 wins, and they're both Vikings. We'll see what they do. They probably
The Vikings, I think the Vikings are a little worse.
Yeah, Sam Darnold projecting as your starting quarterback, never good.
They told Sam Darnold when they signed him that
Oh yeah,
whoever, no matter who they draft, that he's starting, like that Sam Darnold's starting.
yeah. Sam Darnold is your starter, but
They're gonna try and do the Mahomes plan.
by week 8, JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll see. We'll see how they're doing. Like I really think they're committed to making sure that
Darnold's never
that he's ready. Like,
Darnold always gets hurt. He's never made it through.
we'll see.
well, yeah, if they but I don't think they're gonna pull him for bad play, is what I'm saying.
Possible.
You never know, man. Those voices get loud and people
They do.
get
The voices do get
anxious.
loud.
Eagles
You're
literally
right.
signed fucking Sam Bradford to a contract extension and then traded that bitch.
Yeah. Like it.
Before
The Eagles might be losing a draft pick. By the way,
tampering the
With who?
Saquon, but ours is going to be less than what the Falcons and Cousins got. They said they're going to hit the Falcons hard for Cousins. They're going to hit us moderately. I think it's going to be more similar to when the Chiefs and Jeremy Maclin. And it was a couple draft picks.
I thought it was just like a third round or something like that we
I
lost.
think a sixth.
Oh. Well,
I think that's more realistically than what we'll see than what we saw with the Dolphins and Tom Brady, where they lost a first round pick in the third.
Yeah, they were being so goddamn out in the open about it.
Yeah. But I
Like,
think that's what's
we're
going
even
to
trying
happen.
to
I think
hide
the Falcons are going to come in closer to that.
The NFL was like, don't disrespect us like that.
And then it's going to really put into perspective why the Falcons drafted Michael Penix when they lose their first round pick next year.
You're like, oh, it makes sense. Okay, yeah. All right. Anyways, I think we did it though.
We did it, guys.
We got there.
We did it.
It was fun. We had a
Solid
great
show.
time.
Solid
Can't wait for those NBA finals.
As always. Thanks
When
for
does that?
watching.
When does that start?
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
When the fuck are you leaving?